All right, let's call the May 14th school board meeting to order. And we're welcoming everybody via Zoom. And we will not have any celebrations that I know of other than we're all together for a meeting. Is that correct, Mr. Wiggins?
That is correct.
All right, and then we will not have any comments from patrons. So, Bambi, let the minutes show that we have an established quorum. And the first item will be to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of April 9th and the special board meeting of April 30th.
I motion to approve. Okay, second.
So who did we have? I missed it. So
Audra moved and I seconded.
Okay, good. All right. All in favor? Aye. I like your thing, Connie, with the thumbs up. I liked that last time. All opposed? Okay. Where are we here? All right. Now we're going to go into reports and Mr. Wiggins.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to give you an update of some important events that are taking place or we're planning on taking place. First of all, Scholarship Night is happening tonight. It starts at 6 o'clock this evening, and it is a virtual scholarship night this year. So those students who are receiving scholarships, their parents have been notified, and we will be doing a virtual online scholarship night tonight. So those students will find out about their scholarships this evening. And so as we finish here, if you want to join that, I've got a link that I can send to you if you did not get one. I think all of you may have gotten one from Amber, but I can send that to you if you would like me to. We also, as discussed last meeting, we have tentative dates set for graduation of July 17th at 8 o'clock in the stadium. And that would be a limited attendance event. Further definition of that would come later as we get more guidance from the state. And if there was rain or weather that night, our backup plan would be July the 18th on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock in the morning. So those are tentative dates, and again, more information to come on that. The chamber has requested that we try to schedule a scholars luncheon. They would like to do that event in July, just before graduation. So the date on that tentative is July the 9th, which would be the week before that graduation. And anyway, I just want you to have that date to put on your calendar. That is tentative from the chamber. That's not really our event, this is the chamber event, but they would still like to do that, and they have a tentative date of July 9th. We are in the middle of trying to get this year closed out, collect technology, get personal items back to students, and then plan for summer and starting school next year. And what that's going to look like is yet to be determined, but there's a lot of activity going on around that. And this is just for your information. I was asked to serve on the Governor's Economic Recovery Task Force Education Subcommittee. And we had our first meeting yesterday, and we'll continue to have those meetings once a week. And there's several superintendents from around the state that have been asked to serve on that subcommittee to try to give some feedback on what is possible and is not possible from the school standpoint as we try to plan for reopening the state and starting school back next year. And that concludes my report. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Congratulations on your appointment. I think that's great that we're being represented. Who else is on that committee? Do you know off the top of your head?
There are several people from the Department of Health that were in on that meeting yesterday. People from the Department of Agriculture, people from the Department of Education, people from the Arkansas Activities Association, and then superintendents. I am the lone representative from Northwest Arkansas. There are several from Central Arkansas, South Arkansas, and Eastern Arkansas.
Good.
Russellville Superintendent, West Memphis, Jonesboro, Jacksonville, Center Point. There are several other superintendents on that group.
So you're for the Northwest Arkansas representative. Congratulations. I think that's a big deal. Thank you. Congratulations. That's good. Okay, so we're not having a report from Amy, correct?
Correct?
Or Shane?
Correct?
All right, so we shall move into action items. And the first will be to approve the April financials.
You all have your April financials in front of you. April marked, we're now 84% of the way through our school year. So far, we've collected 82% of our projected revenues and only spent 72% of our expenses. I expect that to stay pretty low for the remainder of this school year. Not a lot of spending going on right now. If you look to your chart regarding the local revenue this year compared to last year, you will see that we are still edging out, still above what we were receiving at this time last year. We're actually $162,000 ahead of where we were this time last year. And I have seen what we are receiving for local revenue in May, and it's considerably higher than I had predicted. So I'm actually very excited to see that. So this COVID has not affected our property taxes this year, so that is a good sign. If you will look over on your other chart to salaries and benefits, you will see that salaries and benefits appear to be the same as they were last month. And that is true because we are fortunate enough to be one of the industries or one of the businesses that are able to continue to pay all of our employees. So those expenses will remain consistent through the end of the year. June will be higher because we will have 2 paydays in June instead of 1. But again, we are fortunate enough to be able to continue to pay all of our employees and they can all keep their benefits. The difference between the March and April payroll salary and benefits is only $6,000 difference. So I imagine that will continue. This month's salary and benefits was 89% of our total expenditures compared to last month that was only 83%. And again, that's because we're spending less everywhere else other than salary and benefits. That trend should continue. If you will look over to your debt service fund, you will see that $2.1 million in savings that we had projected with the bond refinancing. There it is. We made our very small bond payment this month, so that was kind of fun to see that. And that's really all I've got right now, unless you all have questions.
I move to accept the financials as written.
Second.
Oh, all right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm frozen up. Are you frozen up?
I think is there a little delay on me? Mr. Wiggins?
I'm frozen up.
I am too. Travis, can you hear me?
Well, I got kicked. I don't know what happened to everybody.
Yes, I can hear you.
Jody, we can hear you and see you. Or I can
No,
anyway.
Yeah.
But we can hear you and see you.
There's a big delay. Oh, Travis is, sorry?
Good.
Stay off. Yeah, maybe. I just got afraid we had too many on Wi-Fi. Are you on Wi-Fi or are you on plug line? Get off the Wi-Fi and just listen in. Okay, are we all back? Brian? I'm not seeing Brian. I can see everybody but Brian. And Grant. I can't see Grant at all either.
Yeah, Brian's on here, but I don't see Grant.
Sorry, y'all. I thought we had this all figured out.
Okay.
Jody, it doesn't show Grant anymore, but you may have to allow him back in the meeting.
Yeah, you probably do. If he left,
not-
yeah.
He's not waiting.
Oh,
Um, yeah. He's no longer in it, so I don't know.
Well, if he comes back in, he should be in the waiting room. So,
Mhm.
is Brian frozen?
He's just sitting really still.
Okay.
I think he just got out and is going to get back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have him come over.
Well, I wonder how popular we are on YouTube right now.
I bet this is exciting watching.
I bet it is too, as we troubleshoot our tech issues.
Terry, you had a lovely report for the part that I could actually hear.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Wiggins. I tried.
You're welcome.
It was a good report.
Thank you. Thank you.
You froze in some interesting positions there toward the end.
Oh boy. Yay.
I can't believe they're not in the waiting room yet.
Grant should be coming back in now.
Okay.
Hello, Grant.
Hey, Grant.
And now Brian should be coming back in. Okay, Brian's back. Grant's back. Back in now. Okay, we are all back. Hello, Grant.
Hey, Grant.
Yeah, I got you, Jody.
And now Brian should be coming back in.
All right.
Okay, Brian's back. Grant's back.
So we all here?
We are.
Here.
We're all back.
All right.
Hello, Grant.
Okay, so we, uh-oh, something just happened.
Brian should be coming back in.
There's Grant.
Travis, can you hear us?
All right.
Okay, Brian's back. Grant's back.
So we all here?
We are. We're all back. We can hear the YouTube from somebody.
All right, Travis is back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so now we need to go back to the approving of the April financials. Who made the motion?
I made the motion. Audra
Under
seconded.
second. All right, now all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There we go. Now we're back on track. Now we need to look at purchasing some buses.
I'm going to turn my seat over to Shane because we turned him off. And so he's going to talk about the bus purchase.
Back in December, Mr. Avery and I began discussions about adding 2 more buses to our fleet that are to our rotational end, so we don't get caught in a situation where we rotate, where we end up in a year where we've got 4, 5, 6, or 10 buses that are too old. If you'll remember, this past year we skipped a rotation year and did not purchase any buses. So we put out for bid, asked for bids on 2 buses. We received bids from 3 different bus companies: Summit Bus Sales, which sells international brand buses; Midwest Bus Sales, that sell Thomas brand; Central States Bus Sales, that sell Bluebird. When the bids came in, Summit Bus Sales were the low bidder at $98,660 per bus. So for 2 buses this year, it's $197,320. Both of these buses do have air conditioning and undercarriage storage. The way we rotate our buses in when we get brand new buses, we use those for our trip buses. So that's where all our out of town trips. So we have kids as much as we travel, and as we buy new buses, we'll rotate in the next few years into route buses. At this time, we do not have any buses that we anticipate getting rid of, because we are anticipating the possibility of having to add at least 1 and maybe 2 routes next year. So we're going to be right back where we started next year on the number of buses per routes and our extra buses. So
What is the majority of our fleet? Is it international or Thomas?
it is international. We've moved to international. Our mechanics are all trained to work on the international computer systems. So there was a few years where we had some Thomas buses, and we found that by mixing up different brands, it made it a lot harder for our technicians to work on. We had to have a lot more equipment, and so it just makes sense. And in this case, they are the low bidder, so it makes sense to go with them. And I would recommend that we take the low bid for the international buses and purchase those for the 2021 school year.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Now we move on to custodial services bid.
I will also present this bid to the board and make a recommendation. We started, it's been a few years since we have bid out our nighttime custodial contract. So we put it out for bid. We had 10 businesses that put in bids. We had an opening. Myself and Miss Terry were at the opening along with Randall and Dustin. And we actually had a few of our vendors that showed and watched the bid opening. We had a high bid of $940,238.40, all the way down to the low bid of $355,000 even. And that's the year's work for the entire school year. The low bidder was the same company that we have been using, High Class Maintenance. And we feel at this time that we need to recommend to the board that we continue with our contract at this new price. This is actually a reduction in price. His bid was much lower than we paid in the last few years. And so we're going to save the district about $60,000.
Was there any change in services?
No change in services, and we actually added some square footage. And so
Motion to accept High Class Maintenance.
Second.
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. We'll go to the summer hire list.
Okay, summer hire list, I believe Terry is presenting that one.
Every year we request from all of our supervisors and all of our departments for people who may or may not need to work over the summer. As you know, this list gets revised several times, so probably for the next couple of meetings, we will be adding people to this list. Just because they are on the list does not necessarily mean that they are going to work every day during that time. Our food service and transportation usually needs a lot of subs. You know, people are going on vacation in the summer and stuff, so it's better to include them than to exclude them. But as you can see, it's got a date range that we will be paying them that they can work. Does not mean they'll work every one of those days, and their rates of pay. I would love for you to approve this current summer hire list.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And now we'll go to physical therapy, occupational therapy agreement.
Okay, each year, our district contracts with some outside vendors and some individuals to provide therapy services across our school district, mostly to special education students. So we have a list of agreements or contracts here to approve for next year. And all of these are people or businesses that we have done business with in the past under the same type of circumstances. So we've got Brandy Perkins, who provides speech therapy services. under contract. Vanessa McNair, her company, Physical Therapy, provides physical therapy, a couple of different providers there. Surratt Therapy Services provides occupational therapy, multiple providers under that heading. Tabitha Radford provides speech language therapy. Alliance Ventures provides PT, OT, and speech for us, and they have multiple people that work in our district. And then Doris Henderson provides testing services for us. And I would ask that you approve these agreements, these outside contractor agreements to provide those services for our special education department.
Motion to approve the outside agreements?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we'll do approve special education assurances.
Okay, each year we ask you all to approve a whole bunch of different assurances. This one is specific to special education, and it basically says that we are going to, as a district, we're going to follow Title 6B, which is special education funding rules and regulations, and we're going to provide appropriate services as outlined in the law. And it will be Mr. Lamb and I that sign off on this to assure that we are going to do this. But I would ask that you approve these assurances as we do on a yearly basis.
Move to approve the assurances for special education.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. And now that brings us to executive session for purpose of resignations and hiring. Call us back into open session. And we need to approve renewal of classified personnel contracts for the year 2021.
Yes, sir. In your packet, there was a spreadsheet of approximately 4 pages, 5 pages, 251 staff members, classified staff members. This is everything from transportation to nurses to food service, maintenance, custodial, office workers. There's a whole bunch of different categories of people represented in this group of 251 people. And I greatly appreciate them. And throughout this pandemic and the situations that have come up over the last couple of months, these people have put a lot of work in, feeding our kids, transporting meals, and keeping our buildings safe and disinfected. And I appreciate them so much. And they are key members of our school system. And we could not do what we do without them. And I would recommend that you all approve these 251 positions for employment next year.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. I think I'll echo what Jody said about that, it's amazing we have 251 on the staff. That's a huge amount of people that are giving to the district and giving to the community, and we appreciate all of them for sure. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, now we need to accept some resignations.
And we have 3 resignations to present tonight. Jolene Nutter, high school counselor, Morgan Carlson, Northside kindergarten teacher, and Emily Laney, intermediate 5th grade language arts social studies teacher. I recommend that we accept these resignations.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we need to hire some staff.
Yes, sir. We have 4 licensed staff to hire this evening. Dennis Yoakum is, I would recommend as middle school assistant principal in place of Justin Blanchard. Rachel Hart, Southside special education teacher. Annalise Mazzoni, middle school 8th grade English language arts teacher. And Brittany Hayden Champosi, new high school assistant principal. Recommend that we hire those 4 people.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
There we go. All right, all in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, no emergency sick leaves,
No, sir, not at this time.
no transfers,
Not at this time.
in or out. So that brings us to other business.
Sir, we have a couple of items that I think were supposed to happen in our April board meeting. The election of school board officers and the approval of a financial resolution and a dispersing officer. So that is something that the board decides because those are board positions. So I would ask that you all consider election of school board officers and a appointment of a dispersing officer and an alternate.
I'd like to make a motion to elect the following school board officers for the 2020-2021 school year. President Brian Lamb, Vice President Audra Farrell, Secretary Connie Matchell, Legislative Liaison Travis Jackson.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we got that done. And now the financial resolution.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the financial resolution for the 2020-2021 school year, assigning Connie Matchell as dispersing officer and Grant Lloyd as alternate dispersing officer for the first 6 months of 2020-2021 and beginning July 1st, the same assignments. Connie Matchell is the dispersing officer and Grant Lloyd is the alternate dispersing officer for the second 6 months of the 2020-2021 fiscal year, beginning January 1st.
Second.
All right, thank you, Connie and Grant, for agreeing to do that. That is very important that we have that, and that's important for our auditors, and it makes things run smoothly, and the board kind of overseeing all the expenditures. So thank you, guys. So, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Any other business, Mr. Wiggins?
I need to announce some classified resignations. We have 4 classified staff members who have turned in resignations. Christian Vesner, Transportation; Nancy Grass, Northside Elementary Library Aide; Jamie Olenek, Allen Elementary Library Aide; and Kathy Nichols, Southside Elementary Library Aide. So we have lots of library aide openings at this point.
Wow.
Good.
And that's it.
Well, thanks again to Jody, to you and your staff for what you're trying to accomplish through these hard times. Our hats off to you guys. It's tough, and you're doing a great job, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. We have a great staff.
Motion to adjourn.
There you go.
Second.
A lot of seconds on that one. All right, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right. Meeting adjourned.